Hey guys, and welcome back to Minecraft. So today we're doing something a little bit different. Since we started building this castle super long time ago, people have been constantly asking me for some tips here and there how to build in Minecraft and kind of just general things I think about when building in survival. So that's what we're doing in today's episode. You guys probably already know because of the title, but I'm going to be sharing some of my best tips and tricks and things that I have and just kind of general ideas that I think about when building structures in survival to kind of help you guys go along. And this really plays into creative as well because building is the exact same. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It's the exact same. So let's get on with it. All right, so first tip I have for you guys is regarding terraforming. So terraforming, using different materials to kind of signify a slope or something like that really helps out. So you can see here now that we're way underground in the deep part where it's not going to get us out of there, you can see here that our stone here is really making that look a lot sharper, even at the top when it's just that one block there. And then you come over here to where the grass is and that looks much smoother. But even right here, that is the same exact slope that we had over there, but this looks a lot smoother because the material kind of around it helps smooth it out. So if we turn that to a little bit of stone right there, that would actually help to make it look a lot steeper. So using different materials to show your different slopes and things like that that you're working with can really help you out. So we are in spectator mode for this guy, and this one is using a gradient to add a lot of depth to your build. So you can see right here that at the base, we're starting with this cobblestone and andesite, and as you work your way up, we add in a little bit of the diorite, and as you get to this top parts, we actually start replacing the cobblestone out with regular stone. So it becomes more and more whitewashed as you're going up there. Adds a lot of detail into the build and really helps with that extra sense of height and grandeur and just adding a lot of depth and value into your build. So using a gradient, going from the bottom for your darker, more stronger colors and things like that. So here we have the darker stones working up into the nice whitewash lighter stones of our diorite and a regular stone. Now this guy here is pretty simple. I'm assuming you guys have heard it before, but when you're building structures, until you kind of figure out more what you're doing and you're just still learning, work in odd numbers. Odd numbers really help you out with trying to figure out the build in general. And I got a virus protection alert. Don't worry, the computer's safe. But yeah, so work in odd numbers so your roof comes up to a peaked point here. Even if you're doing roofs like these, you still want to get that peak center one wide point, and it really helps bring it out. Lots of extra detail bits, and if you don't, I'm trying to find some roofs around here that, no, I think everything here is actually an odd number. Look at me following my own tip. All right, so we are in spectator mode again for this guy, and my next tip for you guys is adding lots of height variation. I know this is really structured around the castle today, but we're going to be looking at just the beginning of this. So you can see a lot of the different heights in this for the castle, lots of different variables. And as you kind of go across, you see a bunch of different things poking out in front of and behind the different builds. Then even you come down here to the fishing village and there's a lot of little bits of height variation. Things aren't exactly even. There's just little simple things of even like a half slab. You got that slight difference between these structures right here, and just there's a lot of different height variation, and that helps add a lot of interest to your build. Just variation in general is super important. All right, for this guy, we are in the super flat world, and it is basically to take your boring little 5x3 buildings right here and just add extra things, add different shapes to them, and that's how you create really interesting buildings. So we have that 5x3 area right there, and we literally just add a 3x3 next to it, and that adds a much more interesting shape to this guy. This guy right here is that same 5x5 or 5x3 shape. We just add a little circle around to it that has a 5x5 radius on the inside, and over here we do the same thing and just create a little bit of a diagonal off it. That little stuff right there can add a lot of interest to your builds. Just that little bit of variation right there really helps it out. Whatever shape you want to add on to it can actually turn it into a whole new structure. Building off of our last tip, working with diagonals can actually add a lot of interest to your build as well. Just diagonal houses. I try and add at least 2 or 3 in every single city I'm building just because I find them very interesting. But building at a strict diagonal like this can be very daunting and scary. So you can start with practicing by kind of going with more of an eased out angle like this. So we have our base house right here, and all we do here is we start to move the blocks over by 2 each time, and that gives you a great room to like put a door in right there, and you can put like a wood beam or something blocking it. Then you don't have to worry about doing those full diagonal doors or things like that, and it just comes out a lot easier. So we start with this guy, practice with maybe that one, and then you flop it over, you maybe work with one that shape, then you work with that, and you slowly just get to more and more extreme angles, and over time you'll become a lot more comfortable with it. All right, so next tip is to add lots of depth. You can see right here on buildings like these that, like the sandstone structures, they're rather flat, and that's kind of how they're intended to be. That's kind of their design style, but we break this up by adding the buttons right here, lots of windows with trapdoors kind of on them, or you can come over here and add a lot more variety to it by doing things like this, where you have the arches on it, just adding a lot more depth and things like that. Just more and more layers you can add with these large Minecraft blocks can actually add a lot of interest. Granted, you don't want to do too much, but like coming into here, you can see if we had just done like flat walls in here, this would be rather boring, but because we like move that stuff back one block, it adds a lot of interest. And as you walk through the area, it reveals things to you. You want to play with where whoever is exploring your area, where their eye is and what they can see around you. So here we are standing down on the ground because it's a survival world, so you can't fly around. So you're not going to see very many things from above. So we want to play with what you're looking at from down here. Granted, there's elytras and stuff now, but we're really trying to work with what the player is seeing from the ground. So we work on adding depth from those angles. All right, my next and final tip for you guys is to go and look at builds from other people. I know that isn't really a tip of, hey, do this, but go and look at other builds from other people, watch what they do, maybe watch a tutorial for it. Then, before you build the structure, close the video, close the image, close whatever you're looking at, and see what you remember, see what styles you remember from what they built. Then go ahead and build your own thing like that. This guy right back here actually is not my original design. This is originally by Calagath, I believe, on the Duconia Season 1 server. You can see my video walking around his place from way back then. If you look really far back on the channel, you will find that video of me walking around the place that he built. Somebody else helped him with it. I think it was Sir Isaac. Can't quite remember right now. But anyways, that's not purely my design. I looked at what they did and I was like, you know what? I like that. I'm going to take the front element from it. So the front of this guy is very similar. And then I turned it into my own build from there. The same thing goes with those towers over there. Those are a reworked version of something Ducon Red 1 did a tutorial on way long ago. He did his much different on the top than what I did here to finish off with. But yeah, so I got the general idea from him, closed down the video, and then built my own thing, and we turned out with something great like that. So that's my last tip for you guys, is go and look at things that other people are doing, but make sure you turn it into your own style. That's the big part. You want to make sure you're turning these builds into your own style instead of just copying somebody else's style. Yours might not be the best. You might not be the greatest artist out there ever. You might not be the best 3D artist or whatever it is, but the more you work with your own stuff, the happier you'll be with it. You don't need to copy block for block what somebody else is doing. Just use them for inspiration and see what you can come up with on your own. But anyways, guys, that's all I got time for in today's video. I do hope you guys have enjoyed. Please hit that like button if you did enjoy, subscribe if you loved it, and let me know down in the comments below what you guys would like to be seeing in the future, tutorial-wise, whatever other videos like style-wise or things like that. I'd be happy to look into some stuff for you. So I will see you guys in the next episode.